Today we have a family massacre on a farm featuring ghosts, a deer head and two idiot friends. My name is Sean, I post True Crime Weekly. If you enjoy, please subscribe. Now enjoy this week's episode on Morning Crime Time. Today's case brings us to Alberta, Canada, in a town called Castler, with a population of just over 900 people. Alberta is a province in Western Canada, home to the gorgeous Canadian Rockies and a diverse landscape that ranges from prairies to badlands to seemingly endless forests. It is often referred to as the Texas of Canada. Alberta is known for having country roots. On the bitterly cold morning of the 8th of December 2013, a phone call came in to the firefighters. The caller said there's a big fire at one of his neighbours' farmhouses. A truck full of firefighters rushed towards the farmhouse that was reported to have gone up in flames. The sight that greeted them could only be described as gruesome at best. It was hard getting up the hill as the route was on a hill covered with snow. When they arrived to the scene, the crew were met with a sight of a dead dog. It was maliciously killed with a blow to his head. A few feet from the dog lay a red plastic gasoline can, still smoking from the flames, still with a bit of gasoline in it. There was not much the police and firefighters could do about the fire. Throwing water on it would have just led to a frozen mess, eliminating any evidence the crime scene could contain. They waited for the fire to burn itself out. Police then began to case the surrounding area and surprisingly found two shell casings made from a 9mm gun. This would be later linked to the killing of the family dog Keela. When the flames and dust settled, the bodies of Monica Klaus and his daughter Monica were found. They went up in flames with the house. The mother Sandra and Monica's dog Patches were nowhere to be seen, presumed dead and incarcerated by the flames of the fire. So who are the Klaus family? Monica Klaus had been married to Sandra Klaus for 41 years. They welcomed their first child named Lisa Klaus into the world, followed closely by their second child Monica. However, in a farming accident at the age of 2, Lisa passed away. This only brought the rest of the family closer as they welcomed their third child, Jason Klaus, into the world. Jason and Monica took over the farm and the life that it offered. Neither married nor had any children, taking the reins of the farm from their parents. Children grew up to take all the responsibilities that their mother and father had. This had allowed their mother to go back working at the hospital. Jason, who did not earn more than a few bucks, continued to live in a trailer on the family farm. It was a 3-minute drive away from his family house. Monica lived on her own with her beloved dog Patches, but she would spend most weekends at her mom and dad's home, helping them out. The family were tight-knit and would go on deer hunting adventures very frequently. On the morning of the incident, Jason was also notified when the house was up in flames, and he ran up distraught trying to get into the house while it was up in flames, only to be held back by neighbours and police. The police did not believe that this was an accident. The can of gasoline and the shell casings found were the most significant indicators. Now I wonder if the family had any enemies, maybe a land dispute. Nevertheless, the police brought Jason Klaus in for questioning. Jason said on the night of the fire, him, his mom, dad and sister had been at the family home having a dinner and decorating the home for Christmas. Jason said he left in the evening as he had plans to meet with a friend for drinks that night. This is when he mentioned the possible motive of the murders, which was a deer head he had hunted previously and was missing from the family home. It was supposedly worth $200,000.
Did you kill Gord, Sandy, Monica Klaus?
No, I did not. And I would gladly take a lie detector test, and I did not kill them. I did not start the fire. I don't know how they got killed or murdered or anything else.
Should I believe you?
I would hope you would believe me. Yes, you should believe me. Yes. And for someone to accuse me of that, it doesn't make me mad. It doesn't make me sad. It hurts. It really. No, and the reporter asked me that too, and no, had nothing to do with this fire or whatever, however they died, being murdered, being stabbed, being whatever they were. I don't know how they died yet. I don't know if they felt the fire. I don't know.
Give me one reason why I should believe you.
One reason to believe me, because I lived for that family farm. Okay, I've been there 38 years on that farm. Had breakfast, dinner, supper. Yeah, Dad and I would bunt heads once in a while. Mom and I would butt heads once in a while. Monica and I, she always looked out for my girlfriends. She would never like any of my girlfriends. But there was never a time where I would not want them in my life for any reason. Like that I know that's a question you have to ask me, but
Jason, if what you just told me right now is the truth, if what you just told me is the truth,
okay, go ahead.
You have nothing to worry about.
Could you kill your parents?
If what you told me is the truth, you have nothing to worry about.
I don't have nothing to worry about, and I don't.
As the investigation was ramping up, this is the only motive police had. Gordon's truck was missing from his house and found on the other side of Castor 3 days later. This is where the RCMP began to become fishy about Jason. He knew the truck was missing before anyone else. He also knew there was a gun used before any of the shell casings were even found. When the news started to spread about this in the small town of Castor, good old Jason, he had answers to the questions. Jason had said the spirit of his sister came to him and told him exactly what happened. The spirit came down to him when he was watching the house go up in flames. He continued saying the killer came in and killed the family and set the place on fire after. He used a 9mm gun and had thrown it in the river. And Jason said the ghosts, they described the killer to Jason. He was known to the Klaus family and a good friend to Jason. His name, Josh Frank, a welder for a pipeline and local to Castor. He had known Jason his whole life. He was questioned by police and denied everything, and he even passed a polygraph test. Now, if the police didn't suspect Jason previously, they now definitely do. Jason was bullshitting them and he took them on a wild goose chase. The police, now out of options, they brought in a sting operation called Mr. Big. It would be 4 months after the murders. They would befriend Jason, bring him to strip clubs and gain his trust. They said they had an uncle who was on his deathbed, who was willing to admit to anything, including a triple murder he did not commit. You can see what I'm getting at here. Their uncle was willing to take the hit of the triple murder in exchange. He wanted his daughter to gain some money from this. Jason just had to spill the beans, and he would relay this information to the dying uncle, who would in turn confess to the murders. So Jason, who doesn't seem to be the sharpest tool in the box, he told him what happened. But he said he didn't pull the trigger. He said his friend Josh Frank did. So Jason invited Josh around to meet his new friends.
He's got some issues, and I can. Okay, I don't believe in pissing around. I'm a good guy. He'll vouch for me.
Yep.
I didn't know about you at all. I've got a way to help him out. He's met me out. I don't know if he's told you. I've got an uncle dying of cancer. Okay, he's
sorry to hear that.
but he ran pretty long and hard his whole life. He's got a granddaughter, and it's got not much. So somehow, like if the granddaughter was able to be, a little help, but that's beside the point.
I told him exactly what happened, so that's all. Like, how we planned it. Remember how we did everything?
Yeah. So nobody lies to me, and I get everything right. Okay.
You ask him whatever.
You go over there and have to talk to the bush. Jump up front.
Betcha.
The sooner we get this done, the better.
Yeah, no, I agree, buddy.
Josh.
Yeah.
Okay. Just fine.
Todd, right?
Todd, yes,
Okay.
yes.
Perfect.
Okay. And you can, if you don't like anything I'm asking you, there's the door handle. You can buck off anytime. And I got a question. I am dying to ask you after what he told me. Okay.
Okay.
And I'll tell you when it's coming because you're gonna die laughing when it's coming. Okay.
Okay.
The deal is, mom, pop, sister gone.
Yeah.
Tell me about it.
Well, went into the house.
No. Start back how it came about, so I can get it through the math. Because I'll explain to you after. But there's a reason for my asking, like to start right at the very beginning, because
You just want to know.
I'll put it this way: if I said to you that Goldilocks woke up and the bed wasn't right and she ran out, you'd go, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
Yeah.
But if I started the story at the beginning of her walking through the woods, then I can relay that to Uncle.
Yeah.
That's how it goes. Okay.
Okay.
So, this whole thing happened in February or December. You're right. Do you remember the date?
December 8th. He proposed this to me to go in and take out the family.
How did he say it to you?
He said that he had been writing some checks on the farm in California, his dad's signature, and he was looking into buying some cattle. So he was going to be uncovered right away and cut out of everything on the farm. So he kind of they had to go away. after he proposed this to me. He said, if you back out, be watching over your back because there might be a bullet coming your way.
Did you think he was serious?
You never know.
You never know. Did you take it as an actual threat from him?
No, I didn't take it as an actual, like, I'm gonna do this. It's just, yeah, it's always a possibility.
Yeah.
So I went in, let the dog out, went into mom and dad's room, took care of them, sister's room. Then I went back and did all three again just to make sure. Flipped the light on.
You flipped the light on?
Oh, yeah. I didn't want to miss.
Yeah. You didn't want to. Did anybody wake up?
Monica, after the first two shots, but she didn't even have time to get out of bed because it was boom boom. And I didn't want them to know what hit him. Like,
Wow.
I'm not a fucking animal.
No.
Well, I guess I kind of am now. Found the avgas in the garage where he told me it would be. Started the fire. Had to shoot the dog because the dog was coming at me when I lit the fire. In hindsight, I probably should have thrown it into the house, but it's 20/20 hindsight, right?
Mm.
So at this point, I had the truck running, and then I just locked out my saved tracks into the truck. Met Jason, got dropped off. Yeah. And,
Okay, you ready for my question?
Yeah.
How did you pass the lie detector test?
Well, I figured out that the fidget butt pad that you sit on, when you took, as they ask you 10 questions, 2 of them are truth, 3 of them are predetermined that you're going to lie to these questions, and then a couple of them are about the case. So they'd ask you your 2 truth questions, the case questions, and then the questions that you're supposed to lie to them to. And I just gave an extra fidget with my ass on the butt pad. It's a fight or flight response, the guy told me. When your body goes to lie, it's a natural thing.
How did you learn this?
I just figured it out while I was sitting there.
Really?
Yeah.
And then how did you light it up?
I had a torch later. I've still got the lighter, actually.
Yeah. Where's it at?
It's in my truck. I've got it here.
Do you? Do you understand how I can help you? Like, you understand? And I've never asked you for nothing.
Nope.
I'm not making you any promises.
Yeah.
What made you want to talk? Like, just talk to me freely like this?
Well, if you're trying to help Jade, if it helps Jade, it helps me.
Okay. Have you ever killed anybody else in your life?
Nope.
Never?
Never.
You got balls of steel, my friend.
Thank you, sir.
These guys. Mr. Big, the way he was asking questions, he wasn't really hiding the fact that he was a cop, and it wasn't coming through as being a normal friend asking questions. They were so gullible, and thankfully they were. Not long after they uncovered the gun from the river and Jason and Josh came clean to the police, they were charged with the triple homicide. Jason was forging his dad's signature on checks, and he was about to find out about it. The night before the murders, him and Josh were drinking and doing drugs, and then they hatched a plan. They made their way to the Klaus family home with the motive of stealing the deer head and Gordon's truck. While inside the house stealing the deer head, someone woke up, so they got rid of the compromise, which was in this case Jason's whole family. They were both sentenced to life without parole for 25 years. And that's it for today. Hopefully the Klaus family are resting easy, knowing their idiot son and his friend have finally been caught.
Although this does not bring Monica and Sandy and Gordon back, we are very grateful that justice has been served and that we now have the opportunity to move forward with our lives. Thank you.
He determined that 25 years parole ineligibility is appropriate versus the 75 years that the Crown was seeking. We think it's a fair decision. It was a well-reasoned and thorough decision.
He considered all the factors that were necessary, imposed a sentence which reflected the egregious nature of the acts that he found my client guilty of, but yet recognized that everyone is capable of redemption, of rehabilitation, and left that possibility open. Again, I think one important takeaway from his decision is the fact that no one should walk away from this thinking that at 25 years my client will walk out of jail. That will be up to the parole board. And as Justice Macklin pointed out, there are very few multiple murderers in the Canadian jails who obtain parole at 25 years or very soon thereafter.
I don't know what consolation the family could have in this. I'm hoping, as the judge said, that they find a measure of peace in this I think, as the judge pointed out, that in many ways nothing will ever assuage their pain or make up for the loss of their family members. It's a terrible crime. That's been said by everyone in a number of different ways, and we just hope that they go on and they can find some peace and carry on the memory of their loved.
Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please drop a like, and if you didn't already, please subscribe to the channel. If you have any cases you'd like me to cover, just drop me an email and suggest a case through there. Until next time, I'll see you later.